I'm so excited to have Renee back. I know I'm probably going to butcher your last name, Scheltema.
Well,
You pronounce it, how do you really pronounce it?
Scheltema.
Okay. Scheltema.
But you can say Scheltema.
Scheltema. The film is called Normal is Over, and Renee worked on this film for years and years. It was like your lifeblood, really investing in this. Why was it so important for you to create this film and give everyone just an idea of what it's about too, Renee?
Well, first of all, I've been thinking green for 40 years, and I've sort of known what the problem was, and I could see some sort of a crisis coming. But then I thought, green is the fashion, and it should all be fine. But then, when my children left home, I delved a bit deeper into the problems, and I really wanted to make a documentary focusing on solutions, because most documentary filmmakers, they just focus on climate change or species extinction, and then you go home all depressed, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, and a lot of people need some kind of solutions to feel motivated and inspired that they can make a difference on their own.
Well, I think the solutions are far more important than the problems. I mean, the problems are sort of pretty well known. I mean, in Paris, we've now agreed that climate change, yes, it's a fact, but climate change is a symptom of a deeper problem. Species extinction is a symptom of a deeper problem. El Nino, suddenly the media speak about El Nino. I know the media are owned and not independent anymore. And El Nino is just one of these things that, it comes and goes.
Yeah.
So, it's just El Nino, it comes and goes. So partly I made this film also because I was a bit cross as what is presented by the media and by others. And I decided as a one-woman crew to make this film. It's mostly self-funded. I have a little bit of scene funding. And I decided to make this film independently, without commissioning editors looking over my shoulders, telling me this, that, and the other. And usually, you film one day and you edit 3 days, at least that's my experience. And so I spent a whole year filming, searching for solutions throughout the world.
How did you end up finding some of the solutions and showcasing them? Like, how did you decide these are the ones I want to feature and showcase in your film, Normal is Over?
Well, I wanted to make a film with solutions on many different levels so that there's something in it for everyone. So from supranational level to down to earth, a poor man in the street can start a vertical veggie garden, but at supranational level, something needs to be done too. Looking back 40 years, I've been thinking green for 40 years, so I knew economic growth was actually at the root of the problem. And so I was a bit, you have to be a bit opinionated to start tackling the big picture of the world.
Yeah, it's a pretty big thing to do, Renee.
Yeah, many professors actually said to me, oh really, good luck. But then, so I thought it was going to be about economic growth being the root problem of the symptoms of climate change and species extinction and pollution and all the rest of it. And then as I traveled and as I met more and more people, I discovered that I needed to ask the question, what's actually driving economic growth? And what's driving economic growth is our financial economic system, which is faulty. I mean, it's worked for the Industrial Revolution, but it's not working anymore. It's driving us to, the planet will survive, but it's driving us to extinction as well.
And last night I mentioned a little bit about how it's part of creating the new dream and new possibilities. I've asked a couple of guests this today, but what are your thoughts on how do we change that system thinking, right? Okay. That's been ingrained in our culture.
Yeah, for 5,000 years.
Years.
Yes. So on my journey, I discovered that we had a monoculture in our financial system. So I thought, Chinese yuan is different from the ruble and from the dollar, but in fact it's all the same system. So it has nothing to do with capitalism or socialism. It has to do with everything in nature degrades and is part of entropy, except with money. We can make more money with money, and that's because of interest. And because of that, we all want to have more money, and then we put it on the side and we stock it in offshore bank accounts, and half of all the world's money, which I'm not so sure if it's 300 trillion or 600 trillion, is stocked on offshore bank accounts, not being part of the real economy, and it's owned by just 80 or 100 people who are part of big corporations, and it's just sitting there doing nothing. And so I'm not saying, that the existing system is crumbling already, and it's been crumbling for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And climate change, we only know about it since 20 years. But so the idea is that we actually need to create a parallel universe with a new kind of currency, a new kind of attitude, where time is not money, where we are living in a community, where we don't just serve all our needs with money and don't even greet our neighbors. So there's lots of what we can do on the other side of the existing system. The problem is that a lot of people are doing stuff, but they're not connected.
Yeah, so bringing that connection
So what
together.
I'm hoping is, like with this film, people start connecting and then start to build up another system which is really dedicated to saving our planet. Because
What are one of the solutions that you discovered in creating this film, and some of the things that you just brought up?
Okay, so from the very simple solution we can do, yes, species are getting extinct, so you can start saving species in your own local community. I'm sure there's birds or frogs or whatever that's dying out, and you can start a solar group in your street rather than each and every one have a solar panel on the roof. We can do this in community. We can our food system is messed up. Just a few big companies control our total food system. And then there's a certification process which makes organic food more expensive. That all needs to change, because organic is actually cheaper than industrial agriculture, which we subsidize. So the whole system needs to.
There's so much involved. You kind of start where you are. How is creating this film Normal is Over? How has it changed the way that you move in the world?
Not much.
Not much, because you were already pretty aware of all of this.
Yes, yeah. I wouldn't have started this whole big, huge project if I didn't sort of grasp the magnitude of the problem.
Sure.
Yeah.
And what's the wildest thing that happened to you as part of creating this film or making it, especially knowing how long, you came from Cape Town, I should mention, coming out here to be here. So thank you for just making the journey to share your story and passion in the first place. But what was one of the wildest things?
Well, there's several wild things happened. First of all, I shot 180 hours in that 1 year. So to boil 180 hours down to 2 hours has been a big challenge. There's now also a 90-minute version, by the way. Then the other challenge was to simplify the financial economic language, which is made complicated, so almost on purpose, so that if you talk about the ECB is starting to do some quantitative easing, I go next channel. But if you can simplify this complicated, old-fashioned economic language into language that everybody can understand, that was another big challenge. And then, there was little challenges like, carrying 40 kilos around the world and pretending it was just 23 kilos. I managed to get 3 sentences out of Al Gore, even though I signed.
That's right. That's a good story.
I signed a release form that all the press was not allowed to film, only the first 5 minutes, and then we had to all go because he's protecting his speech, which I think is a bit odd, because if you're really dedicated to changing the world, your speech should be public, but he needs to make money, I suppose, while traveling. And I had traveled all the way to the north of Holland to film him, and so I sneaked backstage and I managed to get a few words out of him. He didn't need to say anything, but he did. He said exactly what he needed to say.
Sometimes you just show up like you're supposed to be there.
Yeah,
right?
It was lucky. Yeah.
What do you want to tell everyone? It's such an integrated film. Normal is Over. What do you want to tell everyone? Just the overall message. Even if you could do that in like 10 seconds or less, what would you want to say to everyone, knowing you have the platform right now?
Watch the film.
Watch the film. That's good. Okay.
www.normalisoverthemovie.com. You can watch it online. I don't do politics. I don't do festival politics. I think everyone should watch it and think about it, and maybe screen it in groups or large groups, because it's a sad story. My youngest daughter helped me make this film in the last 3 years of her life. She dedicated her life to helping me. She made all the animations, she transcribed the interviews, and she said, "Mom, we have to make this film into a movement." And then she died 2 days after the film was completed. But all her positive energy is in the film, and I already dedicated the film to all the children in the world. It's a personal journey finding solutions, and so both my kids are in the film, but just the last shot is now also in there because it's now also dedicated to her. And my mission is to not become famous, rich, or anything else. I just want to get the people to watch the film, grasp it, take whatever is in there for them, because there's something in it for everyone regarding solutions, and then take it out into the world and spread the word.
And it's a beautiful way, Renee, to have the spirit of your daughter continue on and hopefully create a larger change for all of us in the world. So thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thank you for being here and for making the journey and for everything you're doing to make a difference.
It's not just about environmental behaviour, and it's not just about, control or power, it's about the whole system.
He was looking to reorientate economic policy towards growth.
People think that if they have more, they are happier.
This is a very difficult problem, and the worry is that it will take a real catastrophe before people wake up.
We all have a stake in the future of civilization.
In this little dot is the cosmos.
I am not spending my energy on trying to fight anything. I'm building another world.
For me, it's a very emotional thing to realize that we can do it.
Humanity has the absolute capacity to shine at this point.
Oh, he loves a kiss and a cuddle.
We have the sense that normal is over.